You know, the textbook definition of critical thinking is a disciplined process that does a careful accumulation of input and perspective almost 360 degrees around an issue, as contrasted with what's called linear thinking or hierarchical thinking, or sometimes egocentric or opinion-based thinking, where we only look from one small position of where we sit, either in the hierarchy or in the chain of command. The problem with linear thinking is we only know what we know. And so what critical thinking forces an organization to do, or an individual leader, is kind of look outside their span of control or their sphere of influence to almost kind of do a 360 or a peripheral vision look at what other forces are at work. In fact, in the old sociology days, we used to call that force field analysis. So if we had something in the center, we wouldn't just look at, well, how is it living day to day? We'd look at how's the weather changing, how's the neighborhood changing, how's technology changing. And that force field then is more critical thinking because we're looking at a broader view. Ron Heifetz, in his book, The New Work of Leadership, has another metaphor which works for me, and that is he talks about the manager or the organization that's very knowledgeable being on the playing field. They know their processes, they know their products, they know their members. But he says for a leader and a board to think critically, they need to get on the balcony. And if you think that as a visual look, when we're just looking linearly, we're looking at the processes side by side. When we get on the balcony, we have much more of a peripheral view. Another metaphor is, do you see the forest or the tree? The tree is a kind of a horticulture living entity, but a forest is a whole ecosystem. And critical thinking is about getting your arms around the ecosystem so you can make the best strategic decisions possible. Well, first let's contrast just leading change with transformational leadership. Leading change is more evolutionary adjustment, kind of day to day, year to year. Transformational leadership is more of what we know in the industry as strategic. We're looking at a horizon that's much different than where we are now. We're looking at maybe changing some paradigms, bold movements, innovative processes. So when you get a 360 degree, when you do a force field analysis, when you get on the balcony, you have a larger view of how you're positioned in a business environment, what the potential future could be, what the strengths and opportunities and weaknesses are. So if we go back to our old SWOT thinking, that helps us think about transformation rather than just evolution. Evolution keeps you alive. Revolution keeps you relevant in the mean that you're seeing breakthrough ideas, you're challenging old assumptions, you're looking at best practices from other folks, and that causes you to kind of shift in your own mind how valuable is our current model or business process, and what might be a new model if we transform to that will be more robust and alive for the future business environment.